Is it working? Oh my goodness, I think it's on. I have two screens. I'm looking back and forth between the two. Hi, everybody. I'm Andrea Nordling from AndreaNordling.com. I teach tired women how to change some dietary and lifestyle components and minimize stressors without feeling overwhelmed and without feeling like they have to be perfect. That's my little elevator spiel if you don't know me. So thank you so much for coming today to this webinar. So excited. I believe everything is working. Like, again, I'm checking my screens here. Did I do this right? Did I do it? I think I did. It's so exciting. Okay, without further ado, I'm going to get into the 3 tests because that's what you showed up for today. You want to know what are the 3 ways that you can test yourself at home for adrenal fatigue without paying for expensive lab testing or saliva testing or hair mineral analysis. Maybe you've done all of those things and you're still wondering what the heck is going on. So this is going to be a really, really actionable and good webinar for you. And I am so excited because I hate doing webinars because the tech just feels like it never works for me, and I think it's working. Oh my goodness, I'm so excited. Okay, so here we go. I'm switching to slides, and I am live in the chat here during this. It's 10 o'clock Central Time right now, so I am live here. If you have questions, you get yourself right in the comments, and I will answer them, okay? All right. Hi, everybody. My name's Andrea. I'm a nutritional therapy practitioner and a paleo rebel because I don't know if I can always follow the rules like I'm supposed to. And I love to talk about food and stress, which sounds a little bit weird when I say it out loud. But since you're here to learn more about adrenal fatigue, I'm guessing that you kind of get what I mean. I love to talk about the connection between our chronic stress, dietary and otherwise, and what it does to our bodies because I know that we can fix it. So to get the most out of this webinar for the next 30 minutes or so, please, please, please silence your phone, minimize your Facebook screen or browser window, and grab a green juice or a few pieces of bacon and make yourself comfy. You are also going to want to grab a pen and paper because you might want to write down some of the notes about each of the tests I'm going to teach you. And in case you're going to use them again, you'll want to probably have them written down. And for sure, stay tuned to the end. I have a few great bonuses just for all of you on the webinar today, and you're not going to want to miss it. Let me ask you this. Have you ever gone to a doctor or naturopath with your symptoms only to be dismissed or given a prescription or told that the next step for you is expensive saliva cortisol testing? I'm curious, but I am guessing the answer to this for most of you is yes, just based on my own experience and with those of my previous clients. Typically, the saliva testing or other hormone panels are what a doctor would lean on and want you to do next when you're having any issues with your hormones or fatigue. Now, maybe you're here today because you wake up feeling like you've been hit by a bus, like you haven't slept at all, and you're having a really difficult time getting going in the morning without massive amounts of caffeine. I can feel you shaking your head as I say that. You might be here because you tend to have another slump around 2 p.m. or 3 p.m. and you feel like you have to have caffeine, or you might just curl up on the floor of your office and take a nap. You might be here because you get a second wind around 9 p.m. and you start to actually feel energetic, like you can get some stuff done, but then you have a really hard time falling asleep at a decent time. And it's leading you to feel super exhausted again the next morning, and the vicious cycle keeps repeating. Or maybe you have strong cravings for refined carbohydrates and sugar and salt and stimulants, like that caffeine we already talked about. One thing I used to do was salt on my fruit. Does anyone else do that? It was a huge snack choice for me when I had adrenal fatigue symptoms. I wanted salty and sweet at the same time. And then I would, of course, repeat that multiple times a day, but never actually feel satisfied at all. That might sound familiar for you. Or maybe you're here because you're constantly irritated, in a bad mood, have zero patience for anyone in your life. And even though you have told yourself for a long time that it's everyone else's problem, you're secretly starting to wonder if maybe the problem is you. Maybe you're here because you have trouble sleeping through the night, or you're frequently waking up to go to the bathroom. Side note, no matter how small your bladder is, you should be able to make it through the night without having to pee. And this is another sign of adrenal fatigue, actually. Maybe you're here because you are feeling forgetful, you have brain fog, or you have a hard time gathering your thoughts, or you feel run down and tired all the time, and you're having trouble dealing with normal daily stressors that you used to be able to handle with no problem whatsoever. Or maybe you're here because you've started to gain weight despite your clean eating efforts and your exercise regimen that has always worked just fine in the past and now is leaving you feeling depleted and not losing any weight at all. Or lastly, maybe your PMS is out of control, or you're having terrible hormonal acne that's worse than when you were a teenager, which, by the way, is completely unfair. So the sad truth is this: the only real way that adrenal fatigue can be diagnosed, quote unquote, is via expensive saliva cortisol testing or hair tissue mineral analysis. And even then, it's not considered an actual diagnosis by most medical professionals because adrenal fatigue is more of an umbrella term for a wide variety of hormonal symptoms, and those symptoms look different on everyone. So you will be hard-pressed to find a practitioner that actually will call it adrenal fatigue in your normal doctor's office. But tell me in the comments, do you frequently experience any of the symptoms that I just mentioned? Which ones kind of resonate for you? I want to know why you're here. And then I want to also hear, have you taken these symptoms to the doctor only to be dismissed or prescribed a new medication like the birth control pill or something else? Or were you told that it was time to get a bunch of expensive testing done? Which of those rings true for you? I want to know. But let's talk about what we're going to learn today. And if it feels like I'm going a little fast, that's on purpose because I know that if you get bored, you're going to turn this off, and I don't want you to do that. I'm so glad that you're here because we are about to break down 3 really simple and free tests that you can do at home to test yourself for adrenal fatigue. We're going to walk through what these different tests measure, and also I'm going to give you a few simple strategies that you can start implementing right away to start improving your energy levels quickly. And just a quick disclaimer here, I'm not a doctor, nor am I your doctor, so if you feel like something that I talk about is contradictory to what feels right in your situation, then by all means consult your own doctor instead. I'm not diagnosing or treating anyone, I'm merely offering some solutions to expensive lab tests that I know have worked for my previous clients, and they probably will work for you. So why did I start teaching about adrenal fatigue? Well, you're welcome for this picture, by the way. After the birth of my second child 4 years ago, I was totally miserable. And I'm sure many of you can relate to that feeling. I wish I had a better photo actually to give you, but I was not letting anyone come near me with a camera. So this is about the best I can do. Anyway, at about 100 months pregnant and wishing that I wasn't pregnant anymore, all I wanted was just to feel like myself again. And after having my son, I was having zero success with losing the 60 plus pounds of baby weight that I was carrying around, even though I was doing lots of cardio and running and eating really low carb, which to be honest had always worked well for me in the past to drop whatever extra weight I was carrying. So I was really, really frustrated. These same strategies were not working anymore. I was tired and I was working harder, honestly, to try to lose weight than I ever had before, and yet nothing was working. So after about a year, I sought out my regular doctor because I suspected that my thyroid function was off, or at least this is what Google searches had told me might be the problem. And truth be told, I was hoping for a magic thyroid pill to fix my weight issues and make me feel like myself again. But little did I know that the excess weight was just the tip of the iceberg. So although my thyroid hormone levels came back narrowly in the normal range, quote unquote, which I now know is such a broad range that test is basically useless, I found out that I did have a large growth on my thyroid. And for a few days, I was really nervous that might be thyroid cancer, but it turns out it was a benign cyst. However, that completely verified for me that something funky really was going on with my hormone levels, and that's why I wasn't feeling like me anymore. It wasn't just one particular symptom, it was just a general feeling of not being myself and feeling way too run down and old for my actual age. So began my trek down the natural healing path. I would never, ever have guessed where this would lead me. But at that point, I was trying to get my hands on any and all information about how to actually become healthy. Not just look skinny again, which, truth be told, was my primary motivation until this point, but to actually be healthy and support my body in getting back to the way it was supposed to be working. I really wanted to get my shit figured out, for lack of a better way to say it, so that I could be a better model to my kids. Long story short, I refused the saliva testing and further hormone panels that my doctor suggested because I knew that they were going to tell me what I already knew. My hormone levels were messed up, and through my incessant searches on Google, I was starting to understand that it was going to be up to me to fix it. So an Instagram hashtag, seriously, led me to go back to school and become a certified nutritional therapy practitioner, which gave me the tools to figure out how my body is supposed to work and how I already have most of the tools already available to heal myself. Now, I had no plans to make this a career. I was just doing it for myself so that I could figure out how my body is supposed to work and how I could support it the best way possible, and then feed my family better and set a more positive example for my kids. But life is funny that way, and now I've become totally obsessed with helping other women get to the root of their fatigue, weight gain, acne, and other hormone imbalances, and most importantly, to start feeling in control of their own lives and bodies again. And I hope that I am inspiring other women to do that without the perfectionist mindset that has made many of us so sick in the first place. And let me be the first to admit that I'm totally guilty of that. All right, like Ashley, she took one of my courses and almost immediately emailed to tell me how much better she felt after only a few weeks. She said the information, and I quote, "The information and life experience that Andrea has to offer is invaluable. Her teachings are insightful, humorous, and relatable. They are also very well thought out and relate in a way that makes total sense to somebody without a nutrition background. I have made so many positive changes in my diet and my life after completing the course, and I feel so much better in my skin. I can't wait to keep working on these changes." I just love reading that. It makes me so happy. So now you're wondering, how can you finally get the kick in the pants that you need to take charge of your health, even without the expensive saliva testing or visiting various practitioners and waiting for those expensive lab results? The answer is you can test, don't guess, but I think that you already know that, and that's why you're here today. And even better, we test for free at home. So if you're like I was and you need a black and white answer to whether or not you should start taking control of your health and then what to do about it, because your doctor isn't going to give you the tools and your common sense is telling you that you can do it yourself, then this webinar is going to be gold. I just love it, you little DIYer, just like me. Again, I don't diagnose or treat, but I do believe that these tests are very accurate, and because they've worked for me and they've worked for many of my clients and students inside my online courses. So without further ado, here are the 3 tests that I'm going to teach you during today's webinar. Number 1 is called postural hypotension. Number 2 is the iris contraction. And 3 is the adrenal fatigue quiz. Plus, as we go through each test, I'm going to tell you what the results actually mean and a few ways to drastically increase your energy naturally within the next week if the test results reveal that your adrenal function is in fact struggling. But first, just remember you are not alone in this. I want to empower you to know that you are in control. It's time to take back control of your body and not rely on anyone else for your own health or healing. And once you understand what your body is telling you with the symptoms that brought you here today, that gets way easier, which is why I'm so glad that you're here. So just imagine for a minute how it would feel to wake up in the morning and actually be excited about the day ahead without having to hit your alarm multiple times, and you could get out of bed ready to crush it in the gym if that's something you're inclined to do. You'd actually be able to make it through a full day of work without falling asleep at your desk, and you might even have the energy to go out to dinner with your partner or your girlfriends and even feel like getting busy that night if you want it. You can have this, and I'm going to show you how. Number 1, we're doing the postural hypotension. Basically, this is a fancy word for monitoring your blood pressure when going from a seated to standing position. It's usually done by using a blood pressure cuff, but you can just as easily use this test without one and just monitor how you feel. So here's how you do it. You lay down for at least 1 minute. After 1 minute has passed, you stand up quickly, making sure that there's something nearby for you to hold on to if needed, and then monitor how you feel. This is about as simple as it gets. Did you get dizzy? Did you see stars, or did your vision go black? These are signs that your blood pressure has dropped significantly, which is a very good indicator of adrenal fatigue. The severity of your symptoms is correlated to how severe your adrenal fatigue is to some degree. So if it gets instantly black and you can hardly see anymore, that would definitely be an indication that you're suffering pretty profoundly from adrenal fatigue. Now, you're probably wondering, how does this indicate adrenal fatigue? It all comes back to cortisol. So cortisol, one of the main hormones that takes a hit during adrenal fatigue, is responsible for monitoring your blood pressure, among other things. And this is why a healthy person who goes from laying to standing should feel just fine. Their cortisol is functioning normally. But if your cortisol production isn't working optimally, you may not have enough to make sure that your body can adjust to going from laying down to standing quickly. If you did get dizzy upon standing, there are 2 things that you can do right away to start feeling better. Number 1 is add in a pinch of high-quality sea salt or other unrefined salt and electrolytes to your water. Number 2 is to increase your intake of whole food carbohydrates. I can just feel everybody shuddering at that second one, right? Speaking of carbs, this is one of my biggest tips for healing adrenal fatigue. More carbohydrates. How much more, you ask? Well, it will depend on your personalized carb tolerance, which is different for everyone. And I teach you how to establish your specific carbohydrate tolerance inside of the Adrenal Fatigue Detox course, so you can feel confident about exactly how much you need. But for the most people struggling with significant adrenal fatigue, you actually need to eat more carbohydrates than you currently are. And this is one of the biggest tips I can give to help you start feeling better. Determine your carbohydrate tolerance, like we teach in the course, and then don't be afraid to include more whole food carbs in your life. Even the most picture-perfect, quote-unquote, clean paleo diet can still end up being pretty low carb if you aren't actively adding in some sweet potatoes, plantains, or for some people, even a bit of white rice. Remember, I told you I'm a paleo rebel, so I'm going to tell you that you can eat some white rice if you feel like you need some white rice, okay? Test number 2 is the iris contraction. And this test is going to look at your pupil's response to stimuli, which mimics the ability of other body systems and their responses to stimuli, something that is drastically decreased when adrenal fatigue is present. Now, number 1, you might want to take notes on this since you are probably going to have to wait until after the webinar when you are going to actually be doing this, or just screenshot this slide. But to start out this test, you are going to go into a dark room with a mirror, and you're going to have a pen light or a flashlight on your phone handy. Now, wait for your eyes to adjust to the darkness, about 30 seconds or so, which will cause your pupils to dilate or get smaller. Next, you will shine the light from your pen light or the flashlight on your phone into your eyes about 8 to 10 inches from your face. So not directly into your eyeball, but give it about 8 to 10 inches and kind of at a 45-degree angle instead of straight on into your pupil so that you can still look in the mirror and see what's going on. You want to watch what happens to your pupils for about 30 seconds after you start shining that light. And like I said, you need to be able to see in the mirror to see what's happening. Now, your pupils should immediately contract or get smaller when the light hits them. But what you want to watch is for how long they can hold that contraction. When adrenal fatigue is present, the pupil will be unable to hold a contraction and it will almost immediately start to waver between contracted and relaxed state, kind of like it's pulsing a little bit. I'm sure that you're just sitting there shaking your head wondering, now how in the world does this indicate adrenal fatigue? But really, quite effectively. The iris contraction test is more or less testing your body's stamina in response to an external stimuli. The pupils of a healthy individual would immediately contract and hold for 30 seconds after being exposed to a stimuli like light, whereas the stamina of every body system in a person with adrenal fatigue is destined to suffer, even when exposed to the most benign stimuli like regular light. And more specifically, adrenal fatigue affects the hormone production of aldosterone, which is also really crucial in pupil contraction. So there is a chemical response that's also responsible for this. So if you feel like a vampire who can't survive in the sunlight without your shades on, it is probably due to the fact that your pupils can't stay contracted. It's not just because it's bright out, and it's not just because you have amazing sunglasses. So how can we improve this in the next week? I promised you that I was going to give some tips on how you can feel better quickly. Well, one of the quickest ways is to give your body a break and stop exposing it to constant stimuli. Number one stimuli that we have the most immediate control over are intense daily workouts. I know, you feel like you can't stop because you've already put on some weight, and if you stop working out, things will probably just get out of control, you're imagining. But I'm telling you, lowering your body's exposure to constant unnecessary stressors, even good stressors like high-intensity exercise, actually means that your body will have a chance to heal. And you may even notice the benefits of lowered inflammation and more energy in as little as a week. So how surprised are you? You're hearing a nutritionist telling you to eat some white rice and to quit your workouts. Probably not what you thought you were signing up for in this webinar, right? Telling you, Paleo Rebel. For the third test, you're going to actually answer some of the questions from a quiz on the adrenalfatigue.org website, which was created by James L. Wilson, who wrote one of the most highly regarded books on adrenal fatigue. I highly recommend it. And so these next 2 slides are going to take you through some of those questions. Now, like I told you before, make sure to have a pen and paper ready so you can tally up your scores on how many yeses you answer. So start tallying up how many yeses you have here. I often have difficulty getting up in the morning. I need caffeine to wake up and keep going all day. I'm tired for no reason. I'm not having fun anymore. It seems like everything is a chore. This is a big one because the adrenal glands are also responsible for the sex hormones that help us feel happy and motivated. And when these are disrupted, every area of our life will suffer, even our mood and our motivation. All right, keep tallying. I crave salty and or sweet snacks. Because your body is smart. Sugar and salt help bring blood pressure and blood sugar back up when adrenal fatigue is present, so it will crave those things. My sex drive is noticeably less than it used to be. I feel run down and stressed. It's hard to bounce back from illness or other stresses. Again, this goes back to cortisol, which is responsible for monitoring your immune system. So when adrenal fatigue is present, our susceptibility to colds and flus, etc., is at an all-time high. I'm having trouble keeping up with the demands of my daily life. Tell me, how many yeses did you have? 3 or more yeses to the questions I just asked indicate a very high chance of adrenal fatigue, but you probably aren't too surprised by that answer. Remember, this is why you showed up today. You're sick of feeling exhausted and unable to handle daily stressors, and you're tired of feeling like you're out of control with your body. No matter how clean you eat or how often you exercise, it's just not coming together. You want to have fun in your life again instead of barely having the energy to make it through the day. And it's time for you to take back control of your body, your nutrition, your choices, your energy, your sleep, and your stress level by following a personalized program that takes out all of the guesswork around healing from adrenal fatigue. And that provides the step-by-step path to recovery, including the exact nutrition, supplements, sleep, mindset, and exercise recommendations specific to your adrenal fatigue healing. It's your time. Haven't you been putting everyone else before yourself for too long? I know that I sure had. And if you're anything like me or my clients and students, then you're definitely shaking your head yes right now. It sounds trite, but it is so true. And remember, nothing that I've shared with you today is theory. I know we went through those 3 tests pretty quickly, but they're pretty simple, so I think you got the gist of it. These are the same tests and tips that have helped dozens of my students and one-on-one clients all heal from adrenal fatigue and reclaim their energy levels and get back to living their regular life. I even follow these same strategies myself as a nutritional therapy practitioner that already has all the tools available. It's all about the basics, and these are the same things that I use. Now, what I'm trying to say is, I'm sorry, but you're not a unicorn. I know that these methods of specific nutrition and carb intake, gut healing, smart supplementation, and stress reduction techniques can work for me and my clients and students. I know they will work for you too, no matter what your situation is. All right, so that's a lot of lead up, but do you want to know how you can finally start feeling amazing in your own body again with energy to not only make it through the workday without falling asleep at your desk, which would be great, let's face it, but actually wanting to maybe even socialize again? The answer is the Adrenal Fatigue Detox course. It's an exact blueprint for healing adrenal fatigue, balancing hormones, and regaining energy through structured lessons on figuring out your personalized nutrition needs, detox needs, stress management, blood sugar regulation to improve your sleep quality, and more. Starting on October 9th, I will be doing a live version of the course over 4 weeks that will include weekly Q&A sessions in addition to the online video lessons, which you can complete on your own time and at your own pace. You also have lifetime access to those lessons and the entire course content and future upgrades. So basically, it's the best of both worlds. You get the freedom of an online course with the structure and accountability of a group if you want to participate and take advantage of the live sessions. In week 1's video lessons, I take you through the exact causes of your adrenal fatigue. They might be different than what you think, and some of the mechanics behind what's actually going on in your body when adrenal fatigue is present. We cover the specific nutrients needed to support adrenal fatigue recovery with cheat sheets and guides on exactly what to get and when to take it, and then how much to eat, specific to your needs, your age, and your activity level. Then how to get the most nutrient bang for your buck out of your food. In this week, we also cover how the blood sugar roller coaster causes adrenal fatigue. That one might surprise you a little bit. And how to test for your personalized carbohydrate tolerance. If you're thinking about that food list and it sounds a little stressful, then just let me tell you that in a few minutes, I'm going to show you a bonus that makes that as easy as can be. In week 2, we're talking all about your shitty digestion and how that can cause your adrenal fatigue, because digestion, as unsexy as it may be, really is the key to most of the healing that takes place in our bodies. And I also teach you a really cool at-home test for food sensitivities so that you can know for sure if anything you're eating might be causing a reaction in your body. And then, like the rest of the course, you have cheat sheet downloads and video lessons to guide you. During week 3, I will teach you how adrenal fatigue affects the rest of your hormones, including the connection between adrenal fatigue and thyroid dysfunction. And we also go through how adrenal fatigue affects the rest of your hormones, how sleep impacts your hormone health and adrenal health, and how to improve it. And then I teach some really specific detoxification techniques to use for balancing the hormone levels in your body. Week 4 is where everything comes together. During this week, we're diving into exercise and weight loss strategies for adrenal fatigue sufferers, determining your most harmful life stressors so you can change your physical stress responses. And then I share my secret weapon techniques for anxiety. And then how to move forward in your life, knowing that you can implement all of the tools you learned about in this course to heal yourself without having to comply 100% or expecting perfection. It's just not attainable, and I would be such a fraud if I led you to believe that you were going to change every aspect of your diet and your lifestyle over the course of 4 weeks, or even if I told you that you had to. Inside the course, I also include some great bonuses, like an interview with Dana from Real Food with Dana about her journey with CrossFit and stage 4 adrenal fatigue. It's amazing. Plus, exactly how she healed and continues to do all of these strategies today to prevent her adrenal fatigue from returning. And then I also have a whole masterclass on exactly what birth control does in your body and how to heal yourself after taking it, along with some other things that I am including just for this round. And besides everything else I just talked about, here's what you'll get instant access to when you join the course. 4 weeks of step-by-step guides and video lessons, simple, actionable steps to jumpstart your healing without any extra fluff or unnecessary information. You have weekly question and answer access to me, your instructor, plus recordings of the Q&A sessions in case you can't make it, so you can access those later. You also have lifetime course access. Complete the lessons at your own time, at your own pace, and as many times as you want, from the comfort of your own home. More importantly, this is what you'll create when you join the Adrenal Fatigue Detox. Natural energy, maybe even wake up in the morning feeling good, like our past students have reported. You can look forward to digestion that works like a charm and say goodbye to acid reflux and bloating. Confidence in knowing exactly what you should be eating and settle the carb confusion for good. You can look forward to a workout routine that helps you get results without leaving you feeling completely wiped out, and strategies for better sleep, supplementation without breaking the bank, detoxification, mindset shifts, and more. Since I know that you're tired, which is why you're here, there's no way that you're taking notes on all of these video lessons or Q&As. I provide PDF downloads with my cheat sheets, guides, and strategies so that you can just download and print them off and make it really easy on yourself. So for all of you attending this webinar live today, I am offering a $50 off enrollment in the course, but like I said, it's just for today. This is in addition to the amazing meal plan bonus that I'm going to get to in just a second. The link I've given you will take you right to the checkout where you can enter the coupon code 3tests for $50 off, like I said, just for today. And if you're watching this as a replay after the bonus has expired, then you still get the awesome meal plan bonus as long as you enroll by Friday, October 6th, when the doors to this round close. I do not know if I'm going to open up enrollment in the course yet again in 2017, so if you are at all interested, now is the time to take advantage of all of these awesome bonuses and the live round of the course. The price of this course is just a fraction of what it would cost to hire me one-on-one for 4 weeks of guided protocols or to see another practitioner for supplement and nutrition information, as you might already know from your previous experience. And the course is full of actionable and specific steps that you can take for yourself to heal the root cause of your hormone issues and fatigue, just like the 3 simple tests that I taught you today. Another bonus I'm including for all of you that enroll in the course before it closes on Friday is this Adrenal Fatigue Healing Meal Plan. It is amazing. Dana from Real Food with Dana absolutely blew my socks off when she put together this easy-to-follow meal plan. She even included grocery lists for each week, and she has some seriously amazing recipes. They check all the boxes for healing adrenal fatigue and hormone imbalances. No, I'm not talking about random salads here either. Think buffalo chicken, bacon, and ranch sheet pan bake, or other easy-to-prep recipes that you can make in advance and have lunches and dinners ready for the week to make your meal planning so much easier. So for today only, like I said, I'm so excited to offer the full course, which is starting on October 9th, plus the meal plan bonus that we just talked about for $247, which is kind of bananas. And that's fitting because, I love bananas. Are you ready to take back control of your body, your nutrition, your energy, your sleep, and your stress with one comprehensive online program that has already worked for dozens of other women? That is the question. Because if you were to hire a nutritional therapy practitioner like me for an hour per week for 4 weeks of personalized healing protocols at my hourly rate and include PDFs and a food list or recipes, it would cost around $600. Now add in unlimited access to ask questions in the online community and the done-for-you adrenal fatigue meal plan with weekly grocery lists at $49. Let's just be conservative with our numbers and say that you'd be spending at least $650 just to get started. And that value isn't even counting the amount of copays, out-of-network premiums, prescriptions, lab testing, and other out-of-pocket fees that you would be paying to continue pursuing treatment with various other specialists for your adrenal fatigue symptoms. As I've seen in the past, that figure can easily exceed a few $1,000s. But I know that if you've made it this far on today's webinar, then you're serious about getting your health figured out. And if you have any degree of adrenal fatigue, I know that I have the best tool for it. Your total investment today is $247 if you're watching live and $297 if you're watching after the bonus ends. But as long as you enroll before cart closes on Friday, October 6th, you automatically get the awesome meal plan bonus with your enrollment. So to get started, you click on the link that I gave you and just make sure you enter the coupon code 3TESTS at checkout to automatically get $50 off of your enrollment. Now, I just want everyone to rest easy knowing that if you are unsatisfied with your course purchase, I will refund your purchase within 14 days. The only caveat is that you have to actually do some of the lessons. So I'm sorry, but no refunds for buyer's remorse. You have to actually give it a shot. Meet Rachel, one of the past students. She said, and I quote, "I used to obsess over what I ate all the time, and it was a constant battle of feeling deprived, binging, feeling guilty, etc. It's amazing how just a few weeks of really getting all the crap out of my diet has helped me mentally. And as a bonus, I lost 5 pounds." Awesome job, Rachel. So before we go into some question and answer, I just want to recap. For today only, you can enroll in the Adrenal Fatigue Detox course, which is kicking off on October 9th for just $247. And that includes the 21-day done-for-you meal plan with the weekly grocery lists, which is regularly $49. So that's kind of awesome. Now I'll turn it over to you guys for some Q&A on adrenal fatigue about the test we talked about, or you can ask me any other questions that you have about the online program. You guys, I'm just so excited when I get it to work and it could go back between the slides and my face. Okay. Thank you for sticking around to the end. I want to just say, if you have done any of my free stuff, like the free Adrenal Fatigue Detox Challenge or anything else, watched any of my videos or done anything else, you know that my biggest passion is for showing women that you can minimize your food fixation and the stress around what you're eating, and it doesn't have to be so hard, but you can still get results and end your fatigue. Okay, so if you get nothing else out of this, these tests are amazing and they're really going to help you figure out what's going on in your body, but ultimately you want to make yourself feel better without making yourself more stressed and sicker. So let me just say that the course, I want everyone who could benefit from it to join in the course on the 9th, obviously, because I know that it is truly the one-stop shop to address the chronic stressors that are making you sick, and of course the food part and the really tangible dietary stressors that lead to adrenal fatigue too. So it's all in one, and you don't have to start on the 9th if you don't want to. I see in the comments here we have a question on if you can't start on time. You have access to this course for as long as you want, so you certainly don't have to start on the 9th. I just want to give the option of going through the whole program from start to finish in 4 weeks, because I know that it can be a little bit lonely doing an online course all by yourself and just watching videos yourself without feeling like you have access to all of the answers to your questions when they come up. So ultimately, everyone is more successful if you're part of a group and if you can get all of your questions answered. I know that, you know that, we all know that. So that's why the live version is available, and that's why we'll be going through for 4 weeks. But like I said, you don't have to do that. If you would rather just wait to watch all of the live recordings, I'll be recording all of the live sessions weekly, and then they'll just be part of your course content. So if you watch it later, that's totally fine. A lot of people end up doing that. Otherwise, you can email questions earlier in the week, and I can address those on the live Q&A as well if you can't make it live. I mean, this is a digital age, and obviously I'm a technical genius because I figured out how to stream this with the slides with sound, which is amazing because I once did a webinar that had no sound. So I feel like I can pretty much do anything now, and I will get you those recordings in the course. Any other questions? Dana is in the comments too, chatting about her seriously bomb meal plan. It is amazing, and she will answer all the questions on that. It is really, really, really a good resource, and it's coming from someone who is a nutritionist. Dana has battled stage 4 adrenal fatigue herself and healed herself of it, and she is really an amazing recipe creator. So don't doubt that the meal plan is amazing. She will answer questions about it, and I am here also in the comments as well. So if you have questions about the course or about the tests, I'm more than happy to clarify anything there. I know I went through the tests a little bit fast, but hopefully they made sense. They weren't too hard to do, but if you need any clarification, of course, I'm here and can answer those questions as well. And then I just want to reiterate that the flash bonus $50 off the course is just for today on Wednesday. So if you're watching this as a replay later and it's after Wednesday, I'm sorry that you'll miss out on that part of it, but you still have access to the meal plan bonus until Friday when the doors close for this round. And I don't know that we're going to be opening up the course again yet this year. So if you are at all interested in the Adrenal Fatigue Detox course, if you have gone through the challenge, if you have done anything else with me and you feel like this would be a good move for you, or just a good tool to have in your arsenal for when you are ready to tackle it, then get in on the course now because it's going away. On Friday, October 6th at midnight Central Time, the cart closes, and then we'll be starting up on Monday, the 9th. So like I said, any questions, hit me in the comments, okay? Thank you for joining. Again, my name is Andrea, and you can find me always at AndreaNordling.com.